Welcome back to Basic Bananas Radio, where we share tried and tested ways to grow your brand and get more customers. Everything from the latest in marketing and branding, right through to growing your team and creating an irresistible culture.
Hi, and welcome back. I am so excited to have a chat today with Jen Wells, who is the founder of Above Benchmark. And Jen is one of our members in the community. She's got over 20 years of experience in the mystery shopping space. And there's so much we can learn from this woman. And today I finally got her to share some of her tips and insights with you, our listener. And I can't wait to share them with you. It's really all about providing an amazing customer experience, which is becoming more and more important. So let's jump in. Hey, Jen, I am so happy to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, you are excited, but you're also very nervous, and I kind of had to force you into having a chat with me because you know so much about mystery shopping. You've been in this industry for 23 years. You run a business called Above Benchmark, and you know what you know. You know a lot about mystery shopping, how businesses can improve their experiences for their customers. And I feel like right now, where we are in the world and with the tech that we have available, it is even more important. The future belongs to those that know how to provide a beautiful experience for customers. And that's exactly what you help businesses with. So to get started, how did you get into running a business in this industry 23 years ago? What's the journey?
Okay, so it's like that typical e-myth. So I worked in retail, couple different, retail providers here in Australia. And while they were all different industries, they all had mystery shopping programs. So it's the one thing that, is consistent in retail: customer service, mystery shopping. So the last company I was working with had a mystery shopping program, and it was pretty bad. No one liked it. It wasn't relevant. It felt like it was 20 years old. So I approached the owners of the business and said, hey, can we change this? It's not relevant. We need to make this better. If we're going to measure our service, let's measure the right things. And they went, hey, chat to the mystery shopping company, see what they can do. So that was great. I was a little bit empowered, going to make some, changes for the company. And I just got hit with roadblock after roadblock, and they weren't flexible and they didn't want to change anything. So I went back to the owners of the business and said, hey, can we change providers? And they went, yeah, do some research, bring us a couple options. So I did the research and went, there's no options. They're all the same. They're just, I don't know, stuck in the mud, just, doing what they do, not making any changes, not being flexible, felt really old and outdated. So I saw the opportunity and quit my job and started a mystery shopping business.
And how long ago was that? When did you start Above Benchmark?
I think it was 2015.
So 10 years ago or so.
Sorry, 23 years ago.
For somebody who is listening and wondering what the heck exactly is mystery shopping and who should use a mystery shopping company, what would you say? So what can you explain if a child came to you and they said, what is mystery shopping? What would you say? And also, what industries, what kind of businesses would you say absolutely have to use mystery shopping, and the ones that maybe should but are not?
Great questions. Couple of questions there. Okay.
Yes, sorry.
So that's okay. No. So any business that relies on customers should have a mystery shopping program. If your business needs customers, especially repeat customers, you can use a mystery shopping program. But let me explain what it is first. So it's all about measuring the customer service and the customer experience. So we'll go in and work with the business, whatever that is, and help define what is their customer service. What do they want their customers to experience when they do business with them? And we map it out. So if it's a retail store, it's how quickly do you want the customer to be greeted? Do you want them to have a smile, friendly eye contact, a hello, an offer of service? All of those things, all of those touch points through, that visit or that transaction, we sit down with a client and go, in an ideal world, what do you want to happen? So we map out, the customer service guide. And then we form that into a survey form, and we will have our undercover shoppers, our mystery shoppers, go in and evaluate the service based on that criteria and those questions that we've put together. So we're helping clients essentially map out their ideal customer service, and then we're measuring them against that to see how they're doing.
That's really important, that first step where you actually, because a lot of businesses wouldn't have a customer service guide.
That's right.
So I feel like that's one of the biggest parts. It's strategic. You start with the strategy. What would it look like if your customers had the best experience, and then putting a survey together for the mystery shoppers to test that, I guess, against their ideal strategy.
Absolutely.
And so the most obvious industries would be, you mentioned hospitality, so restaurants, bars, shops. What about service-based businesses?
Absolutely. So typically, I guess originally when mystery shopping first launched many years ago, it was quick service food, all your fast food restaurants, and retail. Those two industries really embraced mystery shopping. Since then, it's evolved really to, any business that has customers, if you've got that customer journey. So we work with a range of clients, everything from, if you think, going to the vet, like that's such a personal, experience in building that relationship with your vet. We work with laser clinics, with, storage sites. Like it's unbelievable the different industries that can embrace, mystery shopping. To measure those standards and to measure that experience and to know what they could be doing better, how their team's performing. It's really for any business, and not just the in-person visits. We do a lot of projects where it's over the phone, with call centers, or it might be a bricks and mortar business, but they get a lot of phone inquiries or website inquiries, and we can even measure that and see, how those standards are, so they can actually, win the customer over on the phone and give them a great experience, and then invite them to come into the business, in person.
It really is, the whole thing is really about customer experience.
Absolutely.
If we had to give it one umbrella name, and given that we talk a lot about marketing here, this is all about customer experience and how to provide a better customer experience. And mystery shopping is part of providing that better customer experience by having a strategy, then assessing the strategy, and then making the changes. I'm sure you've seen a whole bunch of weird stuff. Right?
We do. Yep.
What is some of the random stuff that you've seen? Maybe some shocking things that you have seen?
Oh, gosh. Well, we had one recently at a pharmacy where the mystery shopper visited the pharmacy, and they arrived, middle of the afternoon, and it was completely empty. There were no staff in the pharmacy. There were no customers in the pharmacy. The doors were wide open, and there was just no one there. So if you think about the security implications that could have with all that medication, turns out the team member was next door in the cafe getting a coffee, and arrived, a minute after the mystery shopper. But you just think, for the business to know that's what's happening, I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to leave the pharmacy unattended like that. We've had retail businesses where staff will flat out say, hey, we're really expensive, go down the road, it's on sale, and give the customer directions to their competitor, thinking that they're trying to save them some money, but
like
not
the
really.
Pretty Woman kind of approach where somebody walks in, they're like, sorry, you don't have any money, go down the road.
Yeah. But just knowing that down the road is cheaper, just literally directing them to their competitor to try to save money instead of getting the sale themselves, just that they're that helpful. Sometimes that's too helpful. And we do a lot of work with brands that don't actually have stores, for their own products, that they might be sold in, the Good Guys and JB Hi-Fi and things like that, where they don't have stores. So we'll go in and just measure the brand service and, the product knowledge and what the team members are saying about the brands. And we learn a lot of interesting things there. where they'll actually just really talk down about a brand or make up blatant lies about a brand to switch the customer maybe to a brand that, they've got an incentive or a spiv on, things like that. So, we uncover some crazy stuff, but also some positive things. Like mystery shopping is about, recognizing and rewarding good service as well. So,
Let's talk about the positive ones too. Firstly, though, I would love to just quickly also hear how, so let's say the pharmacy example or some of these brands where customers get sent somewhere else. Do you then, because I almost feel a bit bad for the people working there, but obviously as a business owner, I would want to know that my staff is not doing a great job. So do you then put everything into a report, sit down with the owner or the corporate office again and go, okay, look,
this is what happened. Yeah. So when we map out the service and we've got that survey and all of those questions, we'll have a lot of questions. Did something happen? Yes or no? And it's got some points on it. And then they get a score at the end. If they do well, we add up all those points and that's their score. So they've got their percentage and we can do that trending, over time to see how things are going. As well as that, we have a lot of narratives to explain what happened. So in the pharmacy instance, I mean, we've been shopping this particular pharmacy for 10 years, once a month for at least the last 10 years. We've never had this happen before. The service has always been amazing. So in the mystery shop report that goes back to the pharmacy and the company and the regional manager and the state manager and, that whole chain, they would still get their score. They would have in there, hey, the pharmacy was empty when the mystery shopper arrived. They'll know exactly what time they arrived and how long they were in the pharmacy by themselves. And then the mystery shopper would have gone on and made the inquiry and, and reported on the service. And we always make sure there's a lot of positive feedback as well. If something good happens, it's in the report. We want to share that. But we also want to identify those areas where we go, this is a bit risky. So normally in a situation like that, we would tell the client as soon as it happens so they can action it and, and speak with the team member. We also then know that, the mystery shopper's identity has probably been blown. They're, our little superhero is not undercover anymore. They're going to go, oh, I remembered that lady. So, we won't be able to use her at that location again. But it's all about sharing and, a lot of what we find can wait until the end of the month and clients get all of their reports together and can look at what happened. But in a case like that, we want to action it immediately and let them know. We don't really coach them on what to do in that situation. I think they know what to do and they might go, this is unusual. Someone called in sick and there's one team. I don't know. That's really, theirs to sort out. So we'll collect the data and provide it back to them, in a timely manner, and then they can action it on their end.
What about some good things? What about some successes, a few examples of what some of these businesses are doing that you have seen, your mystery shoppers have seen that is really good?
Oh, it's just about that personal connection, to be honest. Sometimes it's the little things with, just team members holding something, for the customer if their hands are full or, really, from the customer's point of view, what makes them feel amazing. And when they walk out and go, I got fabulous service, it's all about being heard and being seen. And it's that personal connection. It's not necessarily that one thing, it's the time and that human connection, which is all the little things throughout the service with asking questions and asking the right questions and taking an interest in the customer. And because sometimes as customers, we think we know what we need when we, if we go shopping, we think we know that's what we need. And then it just takes the team member to ask us questions about, well, what do you need? How are you going to use it? Why? When? What's the situation? They go, actually, maybe they'll recommend something that we actually need, not necessarily what we want or what we think. So it's just spending that time with them and listening to them and actually caring about what you're recommending, not just the quick sale to get them out the door and, get the $50 in the till. Sometimes they can be spending less and actually getting what they need. And then you don't have a refund later or, a return. So I think these days it's the human connection.
I was going to ask you, actually, that leads into my next question, and you might have already answered this one, or maybe have more to add. But what are in these days right now? What are customers' expectations? Are there any trends that you're seeing? Have our expectations changed over the last 10 years? What are you seeing in terms of where we are heading?
So typical customers, I think we had a big shift after COVID. I think the whole world shifted after COVID, but I think expectations shifted. I think customers want cleaner venues. They've got higher standards, for cleanliness. Smudgy fingerprints, clean dishes, just things like that, where the standards are high. And we notice these things a lot more, after the cleaning that everyone did, after COVID. And I think people's patience are not there. I don't know if you feel it. There's like a bit of a sense of like entitlement, and they want, they don't want all the fluff. They want to be served quickly. I think we're all a little bit time poor, but we want that human connection. And I think as customers, you don't have the tolerance if you walk into a shop and you've got, 2 staff members standing behind the counter chatting and they're not serving you. We just feel like, hey, I'm here. Give me some service. Stop what you're doing and talk to me. And I think that didn't used to bother us as much. I think we'd be happy to, maybe because we had more time, you can wander around and be happy to browse and not want service. But I think when we're really in that buying mode and we're looking for something and there's no service, I think people don't have the patience anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. And the other thing that you mentioned, which I wholeheartedly agree, what's really important, and hopefully the listeners can implement some of these, and we'll get into some tips next on what our listeners who are business owners can do to improve the customer experience, but the human connection bit that you mentioned. And on top of that, which goes together, is the realness, the authenticity of people that serve you, that help you in those shops. Not just somebody that you can tell, oh, they learned the sentence, can I help you with something? It's like, oh my God, you're just going through the script. Yeah, I know you don't want to help me. So, exactly. That's almost worse than not asking. So it's like really, I guess, hiring people that provide the customer service that really love it, that really Absolutely. Want to help you, that really love the product, not just somebody who is there because they need a job.
Exactly. And I think now, shopping online is such a huge thing. If someone's shopping in a retail store, they want that human connection. Otherwise, they'll jump online and have it delivered in a couple of days. Whereas I think if you're out and you're at the shops and, we're talking a lot about retail here, but, I think people will understand that with, wanting that connection, wanting some help, wanting some real advice. They might do all of that in the store and then go home and read the reviews and, and shop it around. So if we can get that amazing service, in the store, then people will buy when they're in the store.
I agree.
If you can help them and you can give them that experience and actually find the product that they're looking for and recommend it to them and tell them why this is the perfect product for them, they're going to buy. They don't want to go home and then, do all of that. So it's more about keeping them aligned, in the store and helping them, again, back to that human connection.
I feel like you really have to go the extra mile these days in the shop, exactly for the reasons you mentioned. And even hiring us business owners, hiring people that we can train to have the extra knowledge. And again, this applies to any industry, but let's say retail, if somebody walks into your shop, have somebody there that can even recommend things, because most people that go shopping, they think that, oh, this t-shirt would maybe look good. But if you have someone there can say, hey, I've got something over here that maybe it's not normally something that you would get, but this could look really good on you. So that's the extra mile that you almost like consulting without consulting that you don't get online.
That's right. Because if you're hiring the right people, all of those things are going to happen naturally because it's in their, it's in their DNA, it's in their makeup that they want to help and that they listen and they care. And so a lot of it, with the talent comes back to hiring. It's fun.
Really
yeah.
Now, next, quickly, I would love to see if you've got some tips for our business owners here in terms of how can they improve their customer experience right now? What are some things that they could possibly do, think about, questions to ask?
Sure. So if they're not sure, the first starting point is an easy one and they can all do. And it's just simply ask your customers right now what you could be doing better. Because your customers know, they know what you can be doing better and you just have to ask them. Sometimes, you might think that these are going to be our standards, this is what we can do, but actually asking them, through, there's so many types of surveys now, so they might actually have a survey that they send out to customers, might be on a QR code or, something that they can, scan in store. Asking for feedback at the end of the transaction. Hey, what could we be doing better? What would have made this visit better? How can we improve? There's digital surveys, there's paper surveys. At restaurants, you can even ask them, have the way to ask them at the end or when they're paying their bill, not just how was everything, but, could anything have been better? It's thinking about the question and asking it. So that's the best place to start. Ask your customers.
Love that.
Yeah. So once this is then where you start to map things out. So, business owners can do this themselves. They can sit down with their team, they can call a meeting and they can just talk about what expectations do we have? How do we want our customers to be treated? Look at actually mapping out those questions. How long until we greet them and how do we greet them and how do we offer service? If they're going to come along and, say,
sorry. I think I just lost you for about 30 seconds because my internet might be acting a bit weird with the rain here, but it's all good because we can just go back to, you've already shared the first tip. So the one about ask customer survey, and then just let's pick it up from there where you then say something else you can do is blah.
Okay.
And you can go to the segment.
Sure. Okay. So something else that they can do is have a meeting with their team and map out their customer service. So looking at that journey, how do they want their customers to be treated? If they get the team involved in mapping that out, they have that sense of ownership over the questions. So they'll be more invested in the results and the team will be heard. Not that they have to use all of that feedback, but even just asking the team, hey, how should we serve our customers? Where do we start with this?
So like your service guide that you mentioned in the beginning, get the team involved to come up with a rough guide.
That's right. Yeah, for what's realistic. So, back to what I was saying earlier, when I was in retail and our mystery shopping survey said that every customer had to be greeted within 15 seconds of crossing the lease line. Well, that question was 20 years old and the stores were huge. Later, there's no way we could have done that. Yeah. And it was still a question on our survey that we were being scored. We couldn't possibly get 100% because there's no way we could do that. So
you gotta run to the
that was not possible. So it's about being realistic with the expectations, which is why it's great to involve the team. You can also go and mystery shop your competitors. So all businesses should be doing that. Like just go and have a look at your competitors and see, what are they doing? Hey, what could we do better? So it's all about mapping that out, writing them down, making things really clear. We've heard of businesses that will, they'll have staff from different venues, visit the other venues and mystery shop them, right. And get some insights there as well. It's all about just, figuring out what's important and then being accountable for it. You've got to measure it and go, it's great to say this is what we want to do, but are they actually doing it? Are they following through? Which is why, the mystery shopper part of it is important. So, so they're going to communicate it with their team. They're going to set the bar, and then you need to talk about customer service. We hear a lot of business owners and they're talking about, revenue and sales, and are we going to make target and we're going to hit our goals, and it's all about the sales and not the service. So as the leader of the business, you need to be talking about service. So even things like if you've got a positive review, if someone left you a positive review on Google, you need to share that with your team. You need to celebrate that. So if you're talking about customer service, they'll be thinking about customer service, and it will have this flow-on effect.
One of the most important points I believe that you just shared now is make the customer service bit part of we have a KPI for it. We call it customer delight. And every week when we do our team meeting and we look at our weekly KPIs, we review the last week. One of the KPIs is customer delight. How many customers, clients, members were we able to delight? And that's exactly what you're saying, is make it part of your culture. Yes. Really, that's what you're saying.
Absolutely. It needs to be something that is on your ads. If you're advertising on Seek and you're recruiting stuff, you need to talk about, hey, we want people who are passionate about service and can deliver, a great customer experience. In the interview, you need to be asking those questions and talking about service and experience, and how do you give good service, and how do you handle a cranky customer, and and see how the team's going to react. And you need to be talking about that and sharing it, if you've got a group chat or, a newsletter or, Teams link or something, just sharing who's doing well, who's getting feedback, and encourage the team, to let you know if they get good feedback. It might not always be written down. It might just be a customer who says something amazing and, hey, you were so helpful, and, love the service. Thank you. Just pass that on and share it with the team. So definitely.
Great. Love it. Yeah. So great. So many points for our listeners to implement, and really practical tips. Are there any final words, any final tips, anything that you would love to share as we wrap up?
I think, just to summarize, ask your customers what you could be doing better. Talk about service all the time, and make it a KPI. Measure your service. Give customers a great experience, because you'll get that loyalty, and they'll come back and they'll bring their friends, and they'll tell their friends about you. And that's how you grow your business. Customer service is really important. Connecting with the customer, listening to them, making them feel heard, giving a great experience. Yeah. It's great for your brand.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Where can people connect with you? I know you have a lot of articles also on your website that people can read about this to find out more. Where can people connect with you, find you? What's the best?
Start with the website, abovebenchmark.com.au. We do have some really great blogs and articles and things on there, all about sharing tips and what they can do. They can contact us through the website if they want to reach out and talk about mystery shopping or, customer satisfaction programs. If they want some help with that, that's something that we can do as well. But yeah, lots of really great articles on the website. So maybe start there and reach out if they want to.
Yeah, perfect. And we'll pop your LinkedIn profile too. I know you're active on LinkedIn because we make you be active on LinkedIn.
I try to be.
So really awesome work, Jen. I love all your tips. So much value in 20-25 minutes here on this show. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.
And the listener, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you, because I know 20-25 minutes out of your week every week to tune in means something, and we are really focused on bringing you the best and most practical, actionable stuff that we can bring you. So I appreciate you being here and can't wait to see you on the next show.
To get more from Basic Bananas and to learn new ways to grow your business with clever marketing, visit basicbananas.com.